Hello everyone and welcome to this video. This video is a slightly different video. I know I say that all of the time, but it is actually a slightly different video because it's not to do with sewing or neurodiversity, it is just a general life update. The reason I'm filming this video was mainly for my Instagram, but I decided to post a longer version of this video here on YouTube for anyone who is subscribed and just wants to know what I'm doing with my life. Because, you know, you might be nosy and you might want to know. As you may or may not know, I have been taking a year out in the last year to essentially do sewing, focus on my business, but also to decide what the heck I want to do with my life. Because I am one indecisive person and I didn't want to make a decision that I would end up regretting one day or, you know, spend money on going to uni if it was a course I wasn't going to do. So I figured taking a year out was the best option. After a lot of toing and froing, I have finally made my decision, and I feel like it's a decision that is kind of not obvious at first, but then when you think about it, it is obvious. So I am going to be studying psychology at Derby University, and I'm not going to be doing this as an in-person degree, I'm going to be doing it online. As well as doing my psychology degree online, I'm also going to be carrying on doing Lillian Hope and my church internship, as well as a few other exciting bits, which I will tell you now. I thought I'd made my decision back in March when I applied for a theological college called Regents to study theology and church leadership. As much as I love this degree, I felt like it was almost a second choice. I've always loved costume design and I looked into doing so many costume design degrees at unis and conservatoires, and none of them just seemed to fit right. I know exactly what I enjoy sewing, and just the thought of doing a degree, it didn't suit me. And I didn't want to spend all that money on a very full-time degree that probably meant I wouldn't be able to do Lillian Hope Designs as well as the degree. So that's why I settled on theology. However, a spanner was then thrown in the works when someone on Instagram sent me a link to an apprenticeship at the Royal Shakespeare Company for costuming. On a kind of spur of a moment, literally at midnight, I applied. And although I didn't get this apprenticeship, it made me remember about a Royal Opera House apprenticeship, which is the same apprenticeship as the Royal Shakespeare Company one, just in London. Now, these are the only two apprenticeships in the UK doing costume design of this sort, so they're very highly sought after and quite hard to get into. After toing and froing about applying for the Royal Opera House one, I decided to do it because I knew that if I didn't, I would regret it. I didn't know if I wanted to move to London or not because, quite frankly, London terrifies me, but I decided to just do it. I genuinely, hand on heart, did not expect anything from this apprenticeship. The Royal Shakespeare Company one had 2 positions and less applicants, and I didn't get that. But the Royal Opera House one only had 1 position and more applicants, so I had no reason to think I was going to get it. However, life likes to throw surprises at you, and I got through the first and second round of interviews. And if you've been following my Instagram, you'll notice that I was in London a couple of months ago and I posted a photo of the Royal Opera House, and that was my second interview day. I got to go inside the Royal Opera House and there was 8 of us from about 400-ish applicants, whittled down to 8, and we got to do our in-person interview, got a tour of the behind the scenes of the Royal Opera House, I got to see behind the stage, I got to, you know, go in the workroom, I got to touch Darcy Bustle's tutu, which was an absolute dream come true, and I got to study it and literally take it in and work out how they sewed everything together, and it was all round an amazing experience. I didn't get the apprenticeship, but actually I think what I did get was a better outcome for me. When I got the feedback from my interview, the Royal Opera House were really lovely and essentially said they didn't feel like I would learn anything doing that apprenticeship, which I'm going to take as a compliment. But what they did offer me was 2 weeks work experience at the Royal Opera House in the costume department, which is just absolutely incredible, and I feel like I get to study all of the things that I enjoy. I get to do psychology, I get to carry on at church, I get to carry on dancing, I get to carry on doing Lillian Hope, and I also get to build this connection with the Royal Opera House through their work experience. Next week I'm going to do my work experience in London and I am honestly so excited. Applying to that apprenticeship, although it's not the thing I've ended up doing, was probably the most influential thing in this entire journey. When I say that 3 months ago I would not have set foot in London willingly, and now I feel confident enough to get on a tube, which quite frankly absolutely terrifies me. Get the train down to London, stay in central London, walk around central London, and I feel confident in doing that. For me, that is just an absolutely amazing improvement and area of growth that I've seen in myself the last couple of months. And I'm honestly just so excited to see how this new area of my life weaves in with all of the others. Now, a little bit on why psychology. If you have been following my journey, you will know I was diagnosed with autism earlier this year, and I've recently been diagnosed with ADHD. Now, I feel quite strongly about neurodiversity and the diagnostic process because I was a high achieving girl that flew under the radar, and the diagnoses were missed, and I struggled in school but no one really knew. And I've always had a soft spot for helping others, and I've always been interested in psychology. And even as year 7, I had a psychology book, and I would read all the pages, especially the ones on neurodiversity, and I knew everything about it, and I studied it, and I don't know why I didn't pick up that I was autistic sooner, but I've always loved psychology, but I never studied it. And when I found this degree, I was like, you know what, this is perfect. And my mum's always had made this joke about me being an educational psychologist, and actually this decision came from, I was like, maybe we shouldn't joke about that. What if I actually was an educational psychologist? So I applied for Derby and the psychology degree, and I got in the next day, and the rest is history. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm kind of looking at being clinical psychologist, educational psychologist, but my passion is really to research autism more, and especially autism in girls. And you know, I want to make a change in the neurodiversity community, and I want to research stuff. And I would love to, you know, be part of making a diagnostic criteria for girls in autism, doing research into masking and just how autism co-occurs with other conditions like dyspraxia, and just generally researching a lot about neurodiversity. But also I would love to work with other autistic people, because I think that as an autistic person myself, I would be able to bring a level of understanding to diagnosing someone with autism that a neurotypical person might not. And I would just love to be able to help other people who are like me. So, you know, I am really, really excited to start studying psychology. I'm really excited, over the moon. And, you know, a month ago, I never would have considered doing psychology, and now that decision feels so right and so perfect. So yeah, there's my update video of what I'm going to be doing next year. I've done so much to and fro, literally so much, and I've changed my mind so many times, but it just feels perfect where I've ended up. I'm going to be starting uni on the 25th of September, doing my work experience in London next week, obviously carrying on doing Lillian Hope and my church interning, and because I'm staying here, I can stay at my dance school, which I love, and I'm so excited to be carrying on dancing with all my friends here, and I'm just really excited for this next chapter of my life.